I'm a big 2 kick 1 pull girl. It's a pretty basic one, but I just feel like it helps a lot with my rhythm, because my stroke is very kick driven. So if I just like get that extra kick, I can kind of feel that forward motion again. And then the second kick helps me lock in my arms and undulation where it should be. So that's my favorite.
Welcome to Social Kick. I'm Brian Lundquist. We got the full crew. Dr. John Mullen, Luke Paddington, and Lydia Jacoby. What's up, Lydia? How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so since we've started doing Social Kick, we've had such good engagement from our audience, especially following us on Instagram at Social Kick Swim. And so, if before each show, we'll do a poll for followers to submit some questions that we can ask each guest. So please do that. And with that in mind, Lydia, we've got a few audience questions for you to start off today's show. This one is from CT_Mangum. Taters salad or tater salad?
I'd probably have to go with salad. I don't have tater tots very often, so I feel like salad's more integral part of my diet.
All right. Alaskan or Norwegian salmon? This one's from Neoftoshera. Alaskan or Norwegian salmon? Pretty obvious question, but we never know. Maybe you've been to Norway and had better.
Yeah, I gotta stay true to my roots. I have to go Alaskan salmon on that one. But to be fair, I don't know if I've ever tried Norwegian salmon. So.
All right. Well, hey, don't knock it till you've tried it, as they say. This one maybe more to the core of some of your competitors. This one's from Amatom33. That little dolphin kick, that mini dolphin kick that we see some breaststrokers do, or at least what looks like it. Is that cheating, or is that okay, just innovative technique?
Oh, controversial one. I mean, if you're actually doing a dolphin kick and you're aware that you're doing a dolphin kick, then yeah, that's cheating. But like, I don't know. I mean, different people have different like rhythms in their strokes. So a lot of strokes can look like they have a dolphin kick when it's really just kind of the rhythm of the breaststroke. So it's hard to say, which is why it's so hard to DQ.
All right, you heard it from the Olympic champion. Awareness is part of what makes that illegal. You have to be aware of it. If you're doing it and you're not aware, everything's okay, is what I heard from that. And that's someone who never does breaststroke kick ever. Actually, quick aside on this is I remember getting DQ'd for doing a 200 IM, and I did dolphin kick in a real meet, and the official actually had to come up to me, and he's like, "So, you didn't do the breaststroke kick, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I know. Thank you, though. Thank you for telling me." All right. Maybe the most important one of all, given her stardom today. This one's from Ellie_Belly907. Favorite T Swift song?
Favorite T Swift song?
Can you have one?
I'd have to say Endgame is my favorite. That's like it's in my pre-race playlist. But I do like some of her like newer folk albums. So
well, as someone who's been in a band before, and we'll get to a question there, can we get a little T Swift rendition?
Right now? No.
Yeah, right now. All right, fair enough. But we did have an audience member ask something about your band called Snow River. What songs did you play, and when's the reunion tour? Says our Instagram follower Big.Sky.
I don't know. I mean, I played in the band for about 6 years. We started it when we were really little. So that was always a lot of fun. But yeah, we just kind of split up when we all started going to college and playing different sports and everything. But yeah, we played a lot of like bluegrass, folk music, some like indie stuff. So yeah, it was fun. And I actually just bought a keyboard. I'll show you.
All right.
Oh,
proper one too.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I want to start playing again a little more. So
I love that. I would I'm plugged in and I can't.
Oh, that side.
I'm plugged in and I would show you the same thing, but I've also got a keyboard and a guitar right here next to me as well. So cheers to that.
Nice.
Well done. Oh, I have no musical skills, but I like it. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump
You
into
play
a
the
segment.
video?
Yeah, it's all video skills. That's what I like to do, and try to swim. A little segment we have called Fish Out of Water. You know, swimming is so awesome. You just came back from the World Cup circuit, and you met tons of people in all these different environments you're in. You know, sometimes the swimming makes it really cool to travel and be in different places, and sometimes it's pretty damn hard to adjust. I remember swimming in Trinidad. I'm from the Caribbean. Never seen snow.
Oh.
Trinidad and Tobago, and this swimmer came to train with us from Alaska. And he brought this Alaska swim cap, and I was so happy I got to swim with it. Because to me, it was like swimming with Santa Claus. It was so far away. It's so opposite to what I'm about, right? And I
I've
think it was
got my
Northern
Santa
Lights.
Claus mug right here,
Yeah,
actually.
no, you see, that's your neighbor. That's as far as I'm But I mean, talk about that massive change. We see this a lot with swimmers at like age 16, age 17, changing their home environments to go for, to swim at North Baltimore Aquatic Club if you're Katie Hoff, things like this. You went from Seward, Alaska, which is, you need to look this up, audience members, where this is at. This is on the water, swimming for a club that's called Tsunami, because they may get tsunamis. And you ended up in the middle of the desert. You went from a place that's 36 degrees right now to what is it now in Austin? Probably 70s. What was that change like?
Yeah, it's about 65 right now. But we just kind of cooled down from like the 90s. So yeah, it's definitely been a big change. I mean, I always traveled a lot growing up, so I'm pretty used to like a lot of different things, but it's definitely been a big change, especially obviously like training facilities, having 2 50-meter pools as opposed to a 6-lane 25-yard pool. Yeah, I mean, I definitely miss being by the ocean. Yeah, no tsunamis in Texas, so it's one less thing to worry about. We got a tornado warning the other day, though, and I didn't know what to do in that circumstance. I'm like, I can do earthquakes, I can do tsunamis, but I don't know about this.
What happens when your teammates say, "Oh man, it's a cold today," and it's like 65? What do you tell them?
No, it's crazy how fast that you adjust to the warm weather, though, because temperature feels so different here than it does at home. Like 65 at home would feel like a pretty warm day, especially in the spring or fall. But here it feels so cold, even to me.
Did you ever experience a tsunami or a tornado? Either or the two?
I haven't experienced like a major tsunami. We've had some pretty major earthquakes in Alaska while I've been there, where stuff's like falling off the shelves and it's been like some road damage and stuff like that. But we'll get like little tsunamis where the tide comes up like really high, but never like a huge wave like you'd see in like pictures or movies during my lifetime. So hopefully it stays like that. But yeah, I don't know. The weekend that I made my first Olympic trials cut when I was 14, we had one of the biggest earthquakes in history. And I wasn't there for it. I was swimming in Greensboro. But there were like houses that split in half and stuff up there, so it was pretty wild to hear about that.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We were talking about the shift in temperature too, and how it feels different. 65 feels different at home than it does in Austin, Texas. I'm curious. Like I always think about. So I grew up in Atlanta in the South in a humid climate, and I've known people there that had huskies that are just totally not built for like a hot, humid climate. And I'm sure you see that in Austin too. People that get these big dogs, and for some reason, you talking about that made me think about that, where it's like those like creatures are meant for that climate. Did you ever feel like that? Where you're like, oh, I spent my whole life in this climate, and then you just plop me down in this new one, and it's like, oh, I have like a major adjustment.
Definitely. I know. I sometimes like if I go to like one of the parks or something in Austin, you see like these huge furry dogs. I just feel so bad for them because it's like it's too hot for like a human to be outside, let alone like some huge furry black dog.
Yeah. All right. What's the one cool thing and the one not so cool thing of your change. So you move from change of your swimming environments. Talk about indoor pool versus outdoors. I don't know who the head coach is, was at Tsunami, but you're under one of the best coaches in the world now, and it's a woman. You have a storied club and environment. You came from a small environment before where maybe Anchorage was your big team to swim against. What's one cool thing about that move you've experienced in the 2 years? And what's one that's you miss and you regret? Not regret, but you wish for the old time days.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Yeah, now that I've been here for a while, it's obviously cool to train with like a bigger team, with a lot of other like women that have similar goals that I do. Just always chasing that next thing. I'd say I definitely miss since leaving like the close community in Seward. I mean, obviously I have the team here and stuff, but it's definitely hard. Like a school of like 40,000 people, you don't like have that like automatic, like everyone's kind of behind you and everyone. So I definitely missed that, and just like yeah, I mean, it is nice to have a small club too. I had a great coach, Solomon D'Amico, at home. So yeah, no, it's definitely lots of changes. So yeah, working through it all.
And sometimes you need both environments to help support you. Yeah, you need the home and a small, friendly environment, but also it's good to have the bigger team and the bigger, UT team that you have, and the experience of other athletes who have gone that. I mean, you're swimming of athletes who have won Olympic gold medalists, and have perhaps dealt with the aftermath of that. What comes with that, the good stuff and the bad stuff. Talk about the kind of support that you had since you shocked the world. I'm gonna say, like your maximum was amazing. Talk about the time since then and support you've gotten from your team at home and your team at UT.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I won my Olympic medal, and then I had one more year of high school. So I was at home that year after the Olympics. Probably about half the time I was at home, half the time I was traveling for sponsors, meets, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like I've definitely learned a lot about balance and like the importance of that. You can't do it all. So I have a really great team behind me, both at home. I still have a great relationship with my home coach. So I talk to him pretty frequently, and my parents, and some of my best friends from home. And then obviously have gotten some great support here at Texas. Like I've never had, like here I have trainers and like team doctors and massage therapists, and obviously national caliber coaches and all that stuff. So it's definitely been great, and I have a great backing support system.
No, so who I stood up next to the Texas team at women's NCs this year, and I was there with the Olympic champion in the crowd in 100 breaststroke, and I framed my camera on who I thought was going to win. I was like, I'm going to zoom out to bring in lane 2 as well, because lane 2 has to be there as well. But still, my focus was on 4 and 5, to be quite honest. But I'm like, no, don't. Lydia's there.
I see how it is.
No. I'm being honest with you. This is very hard to do. This is hard. But you came back. You came back on the field, and you came back in the Olympics, and what have you. What is it about your support and that belief in yourself and the people around you that you're like, you know what? You guys can take it out. I'm coming for you, and I'm going to run you down. And I don't care what lane I'm in. I'm going to get my hands to the wall first. It's something about Lydia Jacoby, I see, isn't it?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think that I can't like pinpoint a specific like thing like or place that comes from, but I definitely like growing up in Alaska, I was like the top dog for so long. I just like had that confidence that I would get my hand on the wall every race. So then when I started going out into like bigger fields, like obviously when I was younger, I wouldn't necessarily expect to be winning everything. But then like as I moved up through like getting that trials cut, then like Mission Viejo tier pro, before Olympic trials, I got second to Lily, and I was like, so I can get my hand on the wall in a bigger field. And then, just moving through like Olympic trials, Olympics, like just building that confidence of knowing that like I can always get there, even if other people are ahead of me at the beginning. So I think just having the confidence in the training and the confidence in yourself is the biggest thing.
Has that prompted a nickname in practice from you?
No.
No?
Not that.
They don't say save up Sally or watch out she's coming or freight trains on the way. I don't know.
No, but you might have just created some.
Choo choo! Freight train!
Wait, do you have a nickname actually? Do your teammates call you like Lids or Cobes or Cobes? What do you
No,
call
well, a lot of my friends call me Lids, yeah.
you? Lids? All right.
Mhm.
Do you have a lot of pressure to dance when Texas gets up and dances on deck and they all do their line dance? Because you have the experience singing, do you have to be like, all right, you lead us?
No, I don't usually participate in the dances. I think they're fun. But I'm usually just like in my zone by the time I get to the pool deck. But we usually do like a little dance party in the hotel room just with the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not trying to dance in front of the whole. I don't even like to warm up in front of the whole crowd. So gotta save up, let them see that last 25, not the dancing beforehand.
I think UT swim team needs to beat the most popular swimming video I've seen on USA Swimming Channel. It has 17 million views. It's the at least 17, if not more. It's the Call Me Maybe 2012 Olympic team dance video. And I can see UT swimmers doing something that can rival that, if not better. So you get working on that, you know?
We'll have to work on it. Yeah, I remember the Call Me Maybe video. That was a fun one. That came out back in my age group swimming days. I remember our team did like a video star to that after they came out with that video.
All right, I have one last thing. So you spent a year as a 17-year-old, which was pretty old for a 100 breaststroker from my era. I need to now Lydia Jacoby, shout out, who were like 14, 15. But you spent a year in high school in your fishing city, town, village, city, town. Okay. Surely, did they at least give you the keys to the town? Name a street after you? You got like at least a hamburger named after you? What's going on? What did you do?
What's the Alaskan version of being knighted? Did you get that?
The Alaskan version of being knighted. I know I have a couple like different. I think there's a smoothie place that has a smoothie named after me. I have a couple restaurants with lots of Lydia decorations in them and things like that. But
What's the
no
Lydia
streets
smoothie
that I know of.
What's the Lydia smoothie called?
I can't remember. I think it might be called like Golden Girl or something. It has like turmeric and a bunch of stuff in it. I'll have to look after this.
It will surprise you. I'm from Trinidad, and we haven't had that many great swimmers. But you would walk around outside, and it's like, wait, there's a poster of George Bovell there, or there's the Dylan Carter or something. It's like, and it shocks you. Like, whoa, what's Dylan doing on the street? Or why am I ordering a Lydia Jacoby smoothie? It's cool though.
No, it is cool.
All right, so next we're gonna move along a little. So I've spoken at a lot of like swimming conferences, and every swimming conference is always, what set does Lydia Jacoby do? What does Michael Phelps do? Tell us the sets. That's all people ever care about. So we're gonna dive kind of into that with a segment called Science-ish.
Okay.
So as far as training goes, what's like one type of training that you wish you could try a little bit more? Like you have like USRPT is a common one, or like high volume, like what they're doing out at Sandpipers, or like a lot of resisted swimming and things like that. Is there like one type of practice?
I definitely don't hope that I could train like the Sandpipers. I'm not wishing to train like that. Let me tell you.
Cross that out.
No. I'd say USRPT would be one that I'd definitely be interested in trying. I mean, traditionally, when I was swimming back at home, we always did a lot lower yardage. I'd be around 3K of practice, if not below. I swam about 7 times a week and then lifted like 3 to 4. So yeah, I think that kind of fits more like what I grew up doing. And since I've gotten to Texas, we've kind of mixed like that kind of training that I've had success with before, and then pulled in a little bit of like longer, more aerobic stuff. I remember last fall, I remember my first practice when I got to 5K for the first time.
Woo!
Yeah. And then now I think I've hit 6K once. And I didn't like it, so I'm not gonna do that again. Not kidding. No, but we have been working in a little bit more yardage, but I think one thing that we stick with, we kind of alternate the like higher aerobic for me, higher aerobic days with kind of more sprint resistance power kind of things, and then get some racing in towards the end of the week when I'm a little more fatigued. But yeah, I think one thing that we really stick with is that, especially for breaststroke, I won't necessarily speak to other strokes, is that like I should stick with only swimming my prime stroke fast, because breaststroke just changes so much based on like the speeds that you're swimming it at. So like even if we are doing aerobic sets, we'll do like some aerobic freestyle mixed with some like fast breaststroke or pace breaststroke, even just like 200 pace. But just making sure that we aren't going like slow.
Yeah, when you were just started off on that response, I was thinking about what they do at Indiana, and it seems like a totally different philosophy to swimming breaststroke. At least it seems like there's a lot of aerobic, but also like a higher volume of breaststroke. So would you say that like the majority of the swimming that you do is non-breaststroke?
Yeah, probably. I'd say at home it was non-breaststroke, more non-breaststroke. Here I would say it's about 50-50. I would guess. But yeah, I'd say I train more like a sprint freestyler than I do like a breaststroker traditionally.
How would you rate your sprint freestyle on a scale of 1 to 10?
Not good. Maybe like a 3.
All right, we got opportunity for improvement.
It has gotten a lot better this year, but I haven't like raced it, so I don't have any. I know in practice it's gotten better, but I don't have any like gauge, no numbers to give you.
I mean,
that's all right. We don't like to talk about numbers because then it'll expose Luke, and his numbers are so bad that we just don't want to make him feel bad, so we just don't talk about numbers.
Yeah, I'm hitting 5K this year. Okay, I'll get 5K.
So I want to get back to your training volume and those things, because I think a lot of people, when they think, oh, Lydia Jacoby, as Luke said, you're running down people at the end of a race. But when you have such a low volume, that goes against some kind of traditional thought of like, God, she's swimming such low volume. How's she running these people down? And how does she have such good endurance? So what do you think attributes to your ability to kind of close so well in your best races?
She's a badass.
Yeah, that. I'll leave it there. I'm not kidding. I feel like when I was at home, like that's just the way I always trained. And like I knew that worked for me. Like I'd been going fast. I really didn't realize. I mean, I knew I did a little lower volume than most people, but I didn't realize that it was like such a big deal until like after the Olympics. And then everyone was like, "What? You barely train at all." And I'm like, well, like when I am training, like it's quality work, you know? But yeah, I mean, I guess I just never saw like any reason why I wouldn't be able to be that fast doing what I was doing, because I always had been. So I feel like it's definitely a mindset thing. But yeah, I think the other thing is like obviously you need some aerobic base for 100, because you can't, you'll die at the end. But the other thing is like going back to not training slow breaststroke is like it isn't like a 200 or a 400 where you aren't necessarily going your top speed the whole time, because you need to be able to swim at your top speed the whole time. So it's just being able to hold on to that stroke. And the more you train the fast stroke and not like revert to like just doing long yards of the slow stroke, like your body knows how to do that fast stroke and can keep doing it for longer. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I don't know if there's any science behind that, so you'll have to tell me, but
Oh, there is. Principle of specificity. Dropping bombs on him, Lydia. Good job.
Okay, there we go.
So I have to imagine there must be a good story here of you making teams, going and you have these national level coaches having practices for you, and you're like, the warm up is what I do for a whole practice. Are there any stories, especially like when you first got on the scene, where you were just like throwing in a out of your environment, and it was just like you had to talk with the coaches or kind of dial it back a little?
Um, I feel like the main places where I really faced that were at, like, swim camps when I was younger. Like, going to different, like, swim camps and stuff around the country. They're, like, USA swim camps or different, like, college swim camps. I just, like, couldn't keep up with my group. I just like, I really couldn't do, like, the sets, especially, like, some of those swim camps, they wanna, like, impress you with, like, the yards
Yeah.
they're throwing at you. It's the sets and
Mhm.
stuff. Um, so those were really like the traumatizing, like I can't do it kind of moments for me. But recruiting happened so early now. Like I was committed to Texas before I even went to Olympic trials or the Olympics or any of that happened. So we really had like good communication between my coaches at home, my coaches at Texas, like what we were doing at home, what they like wanted to be doing at Texas, how we are gonna like ease me in. So we started lower and kind of worked my way up. So I never really felt like there was anything where I felt like I absolutely had to do it and they absolutely expected me to do it and I couldn't. Um, I feel like we really eased into it well, and now I can do all the practices. Even if I'm in the back of the lane, I just can get through them. So it's good, and I'm even
Definitely.
getting up there.
Yeah. Well, enough about training. That's too much training already for you. So let's move on to
Yeah.
technique a little bit. It says breaststroke is always a fun one to talk about with technique.
Mhm,
So when you think of like the best looking breaststroke technique, a
mhm.
specific athlete, any swimmers or breaststrokers come to mind for you?
I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, I've never really thought about like how a stroke looks necessarily, like just
Yeah.
based on aesthetics, if that's what you're talking about. Um, it is interesting how different all of them are, obviously. Um, yeah, I think mine's definitely more like just like forward motion, not much up and down. Then you have people that are going like up and down all the way across. So it's just like whatever works for you.
No, I think
I,
that's huge because there is so much difference. And a lot of
Mhm.
people, though, have opinions on this because a lot of people will look at your style of stroke. And I think, Brian, you were maybe messaging, or maybe that was Luke saying your stroke technique kind of looks like Liesl Jones, where it's a very
Mhm.
low breaststroke. And some people seem to not like how that looks.
Yeah.
So I guess, what are your thoughts when people give you suggestions or like mentioning things on how to change your technique?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my stroke is definitely lower, and I've gotten that comparison to Liesl Jones a lot. It is funny how similar they look, but I've always just thought like, I mean, in breaststroke, like you're supposed to go like up and down, but I'm just like, the goal is to get to the end of the pool, so why not take like the fastest route to get there? Like, if I can get a breath, there's no point in like going all the way up just to like move forward a couple inches. So I guess that's kind of my thinking on it, and that's just always how my stroke has been since I was little. Um, and definitely like after the Olympics and even before, there's definitely been like a lot of people, different coaches or people that I've worked with who have like had suggestions for how to change like my pull or my like undulation, that type of thing. Um, and I've tried some of it. I mean, obviously, you're always tweaking little things. That's how you get faster. But just kind of realizing, like, who's my inner circle, like, who knows me best, who knows my stroke. Like, um, you can only take advice from so many people. So,
Lydia, I need you to defend your people because the three of us aren't breaststrokers. So get up and defend, okay? You always talk about beautiful swimmers. Oh, Aaron Pearsall has a beautiful backstroke. Oh, Popovich, beautiful freestyle. Milak, what a butterfly. You never hear anybody saying what a beautiful breaststroke. Like,
I
his
know. Well,
breaststroke
maybe
is
you guys
beautiful.
should start
Right?
saying that about mine, then you'll hear it.
All right, I gotta say.
No,
All
that's
right,
true.
wait.
I would say breaststroke's probably not the
like-
prettiest stroke. It's definitely a little more awkward. Yeah. Yeah, the photos that you get sent after
Face.
your races are never the most flattering. Yeah.
All right, we do have a few audience questions about technique and things like that. So, Maja __ vertical line wants to know if you have any tips for a strong breaststroke kick.
Strong breaststroke kick. I spend a lot of time in the weight room. We focus a lot like deadlifts, squats, I don't know, plyo press, cleans, jumps, like all that kind of stuff. Which I know a lot of swimmers don't do as much weight stuff or tend to go lighter because to save your muscles for the pool and practice in the pool. But I've just always found that so valuable. I've been lifting since I was like 12 or 13. So I feel like that's a big thing. I also just like, for me, it's so easy to like tweak your groin muscles or your hip flexors. So just like before every practice, I do like a little stretching session, especially like focusing the legs, just so that you get all those muscles warmed up so the power's there when you get in.
All right, two squat follow-up questions.
Okay.
Traditional or sumo stance for squat?
That's an interesting. I've never done sumo stance for squat. But actually when I was at home, we would alternate like 2 weeks of sumo deadlifts with 2 weeks of regular deadlifts. I actually haven't thought about that for a while. But yeah, because that works like the inside of your legs, which are the ones that are working when you're kicking. So I'd say that sumo is probably more valuable. I've never done it squat, but I do sumo deadlifts, and then squats I just do regular.
All right, next squat question. How much are we putting up? What's your 1RM back squat?
Oh, I can't even remember. Back
It's too big.
squat. I don't really do back squat very much here. Well, not like for maxing out. I believe deadlift. What did I get up to?
This is a regular deadlift, right? Not a hex bar.
Yeah, I usually go hex bar.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
really, because it just hurts my back.
Yeah.
I've got some
Yeah.
little back issues going on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember. We haven't done like strength kind of phase yet for a while. It was more last year, so I think I got up to like 135 kilos with a hex bar.
Nice.
Solid.
Now, stretching is another unique one for breaststroke. Obviously, you'll see breaststrokers doing a lot of odd stretching, in my opinion. W sitting for like hours on end, where it's just like look like they're going to dislocate their hips and bad for their hips in general. What type of stretching do you do, and what's like the craziest breaststroke stretches you've seen or been recommended to do?
Well, now I don't really do any crazy stretches, but when I was little, I was a big doll girl. I was really into Barbies, I was really into Polly Pockets, and I would sit for like probably like 5 hours a day in like a W like sitting position, just like playing with my dolls, rearranging my dollhouse. I mean, that was just like so comfy to me. That's how I sat when I was little. Probably until I was like 11 or 12 or so, and then I ended up getting tendonitis in my knees. And so then I had to go to like physical therapy. I got like dry needling, did all this stuff, and they told me I shouldn't sit like that anymore. So I had to like break that habit. But I kind of feel like even though maybe I injured myself doing it, that might also be why my legs are flexible in the right directions. But I can still sit like that, but I don't. It's just a party trick now.
That it is.
But yeah,
It's a
I
party.
do like like a lot of like hip flexor stretches, glute stretches. Definitely like groin rockers is like the biggest one, I think, especially before getting in for a practice. Just making sure that's all loose before you really go at it.
That's
All right.
something that that's a party trick that I can't do. I was trying to do that crazy like feet out, toes out, knees down on the floor, and sit on your heels motion in yoga the other day, and that's a no-go. That's an absolute no-go for the vast majority of the population, except for you breaststroke people that have crazy.
Well,
The
that's the
secret-
only way I'm like super flexible. I can barely even touch my toes. I can touch them
But
on
the
a good
secret-
day.
You have to know when not to do the party tricks. Like, okay, I can no longer do that, or I should not be doing this with drinks in me. You have to know when to chill on the party tricks. If you do get party trick injuries, and you see Dr.
Party
Braun.
trick.
To that point, talking about super flexibility that way, and then like lack of flexibility, not being able to touch your toes. What do you think's the least athletic thing about you? What's something that like you try to do and it's just laughably unathletic?
Throwing and catching. I'm like actually atrocious at so bad. Like, no, I can't catch or throw anything. I can run pretty well. I can jump, but no, I can't throw or catch.
So yeah, good thing that Austin doesn't have a baseball team and Alaska doesn't have a baseball team, and the Olympic champ didn't get invited. What's gonna happen when you win another Olympic medal?
The like throwing the first pitch or whatever.
And you get invited to throw out the opening pitch of a baseball game. What's gonna
I'll have
happen?
to put in a solid few weeks of training on that. Need to find a catching partner, throwing partner.
Well, like you mentioned, you were doing W sitting for hours on end, and perhaps that contributed to your breaststroke success. But a lot of people think you're either born a breaststroker or you're not a breaststroker at all. Where do you fall on that question or in that camp?
Say that you're kind of born a breaststroker. I think you definitely can train breaststroke and you can get pretty good at it, especially for like IMers and stuff. Like obviously there's some people that didn't used to have great breaststrokers and have like developed a pretty solid one. But I would say the people that you see like on the top of the podiums and consistently like medaling in breaststroke are like pure breaststrokers and always have been. So I know, at least for myself, I've always been a breaststroker.
Nice. And then one last audience question from _Luke_McGill. What is your favorite breaststroke drill?
Favorite breaststroke drill? I'm a big 2 kick 1 pull girl. It's a pretty basic one, but I just feel like it helps a lot with my rhythm, because my stroke is very kick driven. So if I just like get that extra kick, I can kind of feel that forward motion again. And then the second kick helps me lock in my arms and undulation where it should be. So that's my favorite.
Nice.
All right. We know that it's important to tell the truth, and I need some truth telling from Lydia Jacoby. This section is called Honesty Matters.
Okay. No white lies.
Do you always do 100% of warm up?
No. Absolutely not.
Have you ever pulled on the lane line and backstroke?
All the time. Pretty much every time I do backstroke, unless it's fast.
If you do a back to breast turn, do you always touch the wall when you do it?
Yeah. Because otherwise you don't go all the way to the other end. So you have to go touch the wall.
What do you mean you don't go all the way to the other end?
Like if you don't touch the wall, it doesn't count as a 25
lap.
or a 50.
Fair enough. Yeah. I wish I could
It's like
calibrate my
24
watch.
and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
49 and a half.
Do you ever push off on the 8 instead of the 9?
No. I go underwater on the 8, but I don't push off until like the 0.
When you retire, will you swim again or will you quit forever?
That's probably a long ways out, but I feel like when I retire, I probably won't swim for like 10 years. And then maybe I'd float, but not swim.
Oh yeah.
But you'll never find me in like a master's program or something. I
don't know.
don't know. Maybe.
You
But
know,
I'll definitely take
We
a
all
good
thought
10
so
years.
too. We all said that as well, and it's fun. So I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. I definitely need a good break.
yeah, one good break and then some time to reflect. You know, you can't make the decision while
Exactly.
you're in the moment.
That's
But
true.
okay, one last one on honesty. Have you ever cried in practice? And if so, tell us about one of them.
Oh yeah. Crawl goals are a real phenomenon.
Yeah.
Let's see. When have I cried in practice? Usually I only really cry in practice. I wouldn't say I've ever really cried from it being hard. I've more cried from like if I'm frustrated about something on a set and then there's lots of other like things that are making my day bad. I just like think about all of them at once and then I cry about it. But it's not a frequent thing for me.
All right, excellent. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on into something because we often in life have choices and we get
Yeah.
to choose either this or that.
Oh.
Okay.
So, first, this or that, morning practice or afternoon practice?
Morning practice.
Indoor
Yeah,
pool? Oh, you can go on. Yeah.
I would say not necessarily like early morning practice, but I like to do my practice in the morning so I have the day.
Huh?
And I'm not like thinking about it all day.
Indoor or outdoor pool?
Indoor.
Oh.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Weightlifting before or after practice?
This one depends on the type of practice. If the practice is really hard, well, if the practice is hard, it's awful either way. But I would say usually after.
You're in the weight room. Squats or deadlifts?
Deadlifts.
The coach is excited. All right, everyone, we get to work on either starts or turns.
Starts.
Big kick set or big pull set?
Kick set. But only breaststroke kick. I don't move forward when I do flutter or dolphin kick.
You
Doesn't
see
move
why?
forward.
So morning practice, indoor pool, chocolate, lifting after swimming, deadlifts, starts, and kick set.
Mhm.
Then you might become Olympic champion one day. You never know because Brian John, did you match on all of those or some of those? I didn't. I was opposite on many of them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny.
All right, one last one. Breaststroke kick with a board or on your back?
If it's easy with a board, but if it's fast, on your back.
On your back. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I liked backstroke kicking on my back, so I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Lydia, we just got a few incorporated audience questions, some rapid fire to finish this up.
Okay.
What's the hardest race in swimming?
Hardest race in swim. 400 I am.
Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold.
Do you pee in the pool?
Yes. And if people say they don't, they're lying.
Agreed.
I take it as a sign of weakness if somebody gets out to pee in the middle of a hard set.
Have you been listening to us? Matt Sates said that.
Did he?
Yeah, Matthew Sates said that's a sign of weakness if they get out to pee.
That's funny.
Is it a sign of strength if somebody goes for a long road trip without having to stop to pee?
I don't know.
All right. What's your favorite restaurant in Austin?
Favorite restaurant in Austin, Cenote.
What kind of food is that?
I don't know. It's like American food with a little like Mexican twist, maybe.
All
It's
right.
just good food.
Amerimex.
Amerimex, yeah.
All right. This one's from our follower, Gina Jacoby. Must see places in Alaska. How about maybe what's your like one spot that's underrated that nobody ever goes that you would love to travel to or that you have and you really like?
In Alaska, honestly, Seward. I feel like it's not one of the like biggest destinations that people like talk about or know about in Alaska. It's really gorgeous. Glaciers, mountains, wildlife.
All right, the hometown, Seward. Love it. Okay. This is from Yanitsa Karlova, who just says, what's one really hard set that you'll remember for a long time?
I can't remember exactly what the set was, like to a T, but I remember the feeling afterward. It was a set. I found training with Carol that she prints her sets out on a little piece of paper and we all like stick them on our water bottles. And if the set looks really hard, it's usually not as bad as you think it is. And if it doesn't look that bad, you usually get out like questioning everything. And we did this set like midway through the year last year that was, I think it was 650s breaststroke on the 45. They're just kind of like pace. I think we had to hold under 35s. This is short course. And then a 200 like breast down, free back. And then I think it was like a few 25s. I don't remember exactly what it was, but my training partner here at Texas, Anna, she was swimming in the lane next to me, and we get really competitive in practice. So right off the bat, we started out with like 31s, 32s on all 6 of the 50s. Nice. And then we realized that it was like 4 rounds of the set. But then neither one of us was gonna like back down and like start going 35s like it said on the sheet. So we just like held like 31s the whole set, and we both got out and we were like I think we both just like laid on the pool deck.
That makes me think of how badly I hated it when a coach would come back and say, okay, after you thought you were done with the set, and go, one more round or one more effort. What's one thing that a coach does that annoys you that they should stop doing?
I'd say like, yeah, if you're like a good amount into like a hard set and you're like really on a roll and they change it because like you don't have enough time or something, that's always really frustrating to me because like I'm like, I came in not wanting to do this hard set and now I'm like rolling through it and doing well and you're telling me I'm like done with it. Yeah. That's annoying, but it's also annoying when you're doing a set and you think you're doing pretty well and then they go, not hard enough. Let's change it. Make it harder. It's like, well, for doing well, you're going to make it harder. That's my reward.
All right, just a couple more. This one's from Yasmin Al-Sabi. What pump-up song is your go-to before a race?
It depends on the mood that I'm in. But Never Be Like You by Flume and Beautiful Pain by Eminem.
Okay. Prior guest, multi-time guest friend of the show, Gary Hall Jr. once called breaststroke the potato sack race of swimming. What do you think about that comment?
I mean, I guess you kind of go up and down like you do if you're jumping in a potato sack. I don't know what to say to that.
I just always confuse why people choose to do the slowest version of getting across the pool. But as you've already rated your sprint freestyle a 3 out of 10, then maybe breaststroke is the fastest way for you to get across the pool.
Oh, it is. My breaststroke's faster than my freestyle.
Oh man.
Well noted.
You
All
don't
right.
choose. The stroke chooses you.
It's you. I like that. Words.
Born a breaststroker.
Yeah.
I do think that's how it works. All right. And then we have to close on this one. How often do you do social kick?
As much as I can.
That's right. All right. We got Carol to thank for continuing to prescribe some of that. Shout out to the Texas Longhorns. Lydia, thanks so much for hanging out with us. It's been super fun.
Yeah,
And we're
definitely.
really looking forward to watching you continue to swim fast. So always fun when we get to know you a little bit. So thanks for spending the time.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for doing it.
Awesome. That's it for this episode of Social Kick. We'll see you next time. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you're enjoying Social Kick, tell your friends about it. And be sure to tell us what you liked by leaving a comment and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Social Kick. And you can find all of our content on our website,